Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my Robinhood portfolio. Today I thought I would briefly talk about what a stock market index is. This comes in response to a viewer asking what it means to follow an index and why that may be important. So I thought I'd just briefly go through what a stock market index is and why we follow those. So a stock market index is simply a collection of stocks, and this can be stock from a particular exchange, for example the NASDAQ, or it can be a collection of stocks from a particular industry or a particular segment of stocks. This ETF I have up now is an iShares ETF, and this is following an S&P 500 index. If we go to the bottom here, you can kind of see what is included in this particular index. It's simply tracking a market cap weighted index of U.S. large and mid-cap stocks. So the other important part of a lot of these indexes is that not only is it a collection of stocks, but there are calculations put in place that weights some companies higher than other companies. So it's basically market cap weighted index, or it could be based on how large the company is, so on and so forth. So a lot of these indexes get a little bit more complicated, but for the most part, they're simply following a collection of stocks from a particular industry or from a particular exchange. Another particular ETF here again is following the S&P 500 as well, and you can see on the bottom there, it's essentially following the same index as that prior ETF. Here we have the Russell 2000. This is a different index, again, simply composed of a number of underlying companies. You can see on the bottom there, tracking a market cap weighted index of U.S. small cap stocks. So these are a little bit smaller companies than the other previous ETFs have been following. So it just gives you an idea of how a particular segment of stocks is doing. So the other two ETFs were following large cap companies, mid cap companies, those with very large market capitalizations. The Russell 2000 index here with this ETF is following companies that are much smaller, so you can get an idea of how a particular industry is performing. Here's another Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF here, following again another index. This one is a price weighted index of 30 U.S. large cap stocks. So again, a different selection of stocks based on a little bit different criteria, but the overall idea is that you follow an index that has broad exposure to a particular industry or particular segment of the market. Here's another one, an iShares, a China 25 index. So this is following, as you can see on the bottom here, an index of the 50 largest and most liquid Chinese stocks traded on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. So again, stocks from different exchanges and or different market segments are followed typically in indexes. So I hope that gives you guys an idea of what an index is. It's simply a passive way of following a collection of stocks, and typically these stocks are some of the more influential or larger companies in a particular index or a particular industry, and it really gives a good way of valuing or tracking how a particular market industry or a particular segment of the market is doing. You know, with a China 25 index here, the Dow Jones Industrial Average here, the Russell 2000, the S&P 500, but there are a lot more indexes here. These are some of the larger and more influential indexes, but there are a lot out there, and it's a good way of putting together a collection of stocks and following them in a more passive way as well. So a lot of investors like to jump into ETFs that follow the S&P 500 because it's a great way of getting diversification, but you're also following an index that has been proven over the long term. So I hope that gives you guys an idea what an index is. If you have any questions, let me know. If I said something incorrectly, let me know as well. And kind of with that, I'll end the video. As always, if you enjoy my videos, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you guys have any good video ideas, let me know. And until next video, we'll see you then.